Hi, this is Jeff with TourneyGuru, and in this video I'm going to walk you through how to use the digital bout sheet scoring system. So to begin with, I'm going to go to the workers screen. One of the things you're going to need to do is have a separate user account set up for each of your mat workers. So in this case I just have a couple of usernames set up, one that I've called mat-1 and another one mat-2. So to illustrate this, I'll go ahead and log out of my account and log back in as matworker2. Although this says email, you can just type in whatever is the username that you set up. Okay, and once logged in as the mat worker, I'm going to go to the bout sheet screen, and then I'll select the mat that I'm going to be working. So if I'm mat 2, I'll select mat 2. You can see this one above is grayed out and I cannot select it because another user with username mat1 has already logged into that mat. Okay, once logged in, I'm going to see the wrestlers that are wrestling this match. I've got information on the top section here that shows me the division, match number, weight class. In the very top header, this gives me visibility to the upcoming matches, who's on deck, and then if I click on this arrow button I can see who's in the hole and flip-flop back and forth. The middle section here shows me the clock, and then the bottom section is the bout log that keeps track of all the different actions throughout the match. The menu button has 4 different options. So first of all, I could jump to a specific bout number if I wanted to. I also have a swap wrestlers option. So in this case, I've got Caden being green and Aiden is red. If I wanted Caden to be red, suppose he was wearing a red singlet, and click the swap wrestlers button, and that will simply flip-flop them. There's also a change positions button. There are rare situations where the match would dictate a change of position. And then there's also the ability to launch the mat scoreboard, which I'll be going over in a separate video. So to start the match, we click the start button and the timer will start counting down. At the beginning of the match, since the wrestlers are both on their feet, the main scoring buttons they have available to them is simply the takedown 2. You'll always have the penalty buttons on either side that are the circular buttons. So if the red wrestler gets a takedown, now you'll see that the buttons will change and will correspond to the position of the wrestlers. So since red got the takedown, that wrestler has near fall options. The green wrestler has the ability to have a reversal or an escape. Green does an escape. Now back to their feet. Green gets a takedown. The options are reversed. As the clock counts down, it'll prompt me to say that I need to move to the next period. So I click OK. Click the plus sign next to the period. Now it'll ask me who won the coin toss. So say Aiden wins. Top, down, neutral, or defer. Let's say the wrestler chooses defer. Now red chooses down. I can then start the clock again, and the buttons will be set up based on the starting position of the next period. Now let's say at some point here the green wrestler is warned for stalling. We'd go up to this warning indicator, click on that button, and now we have 2 options, a stall warning or a false start caution. Either of these will not award points, but we'll add them to the bout log. So now you can see that Aiden received a stall warning. Later in the match, let's say that Aiden was warned for stalling again, and this time it's now a 1-point penalty for red. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and click the P1 for penalty, 1 point for red, and that's due to stalling. Time has expired again for the second period. Click OK. Now remember that red had choice at the start of the second period, so now it's green's choice. And let's say that green chooses down, and we're ready to start again. Now if you're using a laptop, you can also use your space bar to start and stop, which can be helpful. So you can have one hand on your space bar and one hand on your mouse moving around on the buttons. But if you're scoring on a tablet, then of course you just need to tap the button. So if I stop the match, let's say that Caden here has got hurt and we need to start injury time. We can click on the injury, blood, or recovery button there, and then we specify what the time needs to be, and if is it red or green. So if it's red and it's injury time, I click the injury time red, and now the clock will immediately start to count down on injury time, and we can see that that's what's being counted down here. Now if the ref stops it, we can stop it there, and our regular timer comes back into view, and then we can see the injury time and the amount of time that's been added so far. Now it will keep a cumulative track of that, so if later, if we go back to that and again need to start the injury time clock, we can do that and it'll begin to count down again. And then if I stop it, you can see that we had 12 seconds to be in the first time around, 6 seconds the second time, and cumulatively Caden has used 18 seconds of injury time. Go ahead and start our clock again. Continue scoring the match. Now let's say we made a mistake and we click near fall 2, but we realize that should have been near fall 3. At this point, there's a couple things we can do. I'm going to go ahead and stop the clock again. We can either hit the undo button here, which will just back out the latest action. Now that's gone, and it erased the score or reverse the score. We'll go ahead and add it back. So that's option 1. Option 2 is down here in the bout log itself. You can also make edits. So if I click on this edit icon, I can make changes here. And what I would need to do, let's say I should have done near fall 3. The options that you see under the moves column, they're going to correspond to the points that you select here. So everything's kind of driven from the point total. So if I select 1 point here, I'm only going to see options here that can be worth 1 point, and that's the same thing for each one. So if I go to 3 points, the only option that I do have is near fall there, and then I can click save. Now if at some point, let's say I forgot some kind of action and we wanted to go back and try to insert that in, we can do that by clicking the plus sign. So if I hit the plus sign, that will add an additional record here above where we hit the plus sign. So if I needed to add some kind of a new action, I would be able to do that and go back and correct something if I missed it. Okay, now once the time runs out after the 3 periods, it will automatically prompt you with the winner and the score. So now at this point you can confirm that, or if there was something you needed to change here, you could also change win type. I'm going to go ahead and click confirm. Now I'm brought to the next match. So in terms of the mat worker, they don't have to worry about manually selecting each match. It's going to automatically feed them the matches that they should be scoring in sequence. So I'll go ahead and start this next one. and show you just a few other things. So let's say we hit takedown here, and now let's say the red wrestler pins the green wrestler. We can stop the clock, and then there's a shortcut here that will take us directly to winner by fall. We can confirm that, and then it takes us to our next match. Now let's say that we have a situation where we have a forfeit or injury default or something of that kind. You can go to the end button, and that will jump to our different win types. So we've got injury default, a no-show or a scratch, which means that that person didn't come to the tournament or needs to be removed from the tournament. You got forfeit. Double forfeit would be a situation where both wrestlers didn't come to the mat and basically would remove them from the tournament. And then you've got several disqualifications, and then lastly an overtime ride out. So if we had a forfeit here, we can click forfeit, select who the winner should be, and then submit that. Now another scenario that can happen, let's say this green wrestler is losing, but they're on top and they have the red wrestler on their back. So the time ran out, and the referee now awards 3 points near fall for green, which would in fact have the green wrestler winning. We'll see here the confirmation screen automatically popped up because time ran out, and it'll use whatever was the last score when the time ran out. So it's asking us to confirm this, but in this case we want to add some additional points to green. So what we're going to do is just X out of this window. We'll go ahead and award the points. Now that has green ahead 5-4, and now we'll come to the manual end button, and we'll say it was win by points, and now we have this confirmation screen which gives us the correct result, and we'll confirm the change. You do have the ability in between matches to either go to the previous match or the next match. So let's say that Leo was on his way down to the mat, but it was going to be a few minutes, and you wanted to skip this match temporarily and move to the next match. You would be able to do that by clicking the next arrow. Then you could go ahead and score this match, and then once that's complete, you could come back to the previous match. But you would need to remember to come back. It wouldn't automatically know that you want to go backwards, so you'd need to keep track of that. This system offers many advantages for your tournament and should simplify things for your scorekeepers. We hope you like it. You do have the ability to adjust the clock as needed. So by default, the clock will always start with whatever was set up in the tournament configuration. But if you need to make a change, you can click the set button and then modify the time, click save and confirm it, and then go ahead and start the clock again. Now if you're scoring the match and for some reason you weren't able to stop the clock right when the referee stopped the match, let's say you let a few more seconds run off and you want to try to get back to where you need to be, you can again use the set button. So if we let it go down to 41 but we really need to have that back at 45, we can do that. And then start the match again.